Okay, let's start with the most important thing. How to hold the sticks, not spinning the sticks. Hold your hand up like you're saying stop, and put the stick right there in the center. Choke it all the way up. Wrap your fingers around it. We're going to find the grip that's the most comfortable and that you get the most out of. And you can certainly modify that if you feel the need. A lot of people play traditional. I've played traditional. But we're going to work with the matched grip. Both hands are the same. We're going to think about grabbing a doorknob. Think of that analogy, using all fingers to hold and touch the stick. Also, we'll think about dribbling the basketball because we want to use our wrist entirely. Not elbow, not arm. It's all finesse, all control. We will get into single to double progression with the same intensity and the same control. The right hand will be the ask, the left hand will be the answer. Okay? So, right hand up, stick centered, wrap your fingers around it naturally. Same with the left hand. Then we go to letter A, that will be our start position. Everything we do, let's think about starting above the surface, not touching the drum, but having some reaction time and some space. Let's also talk about 2 or 3 inches above the drum is where we want to start. Now we talked about reading and writing music. We identified all of the notes, whole note, half note, quarter, eighth, 16th, 30 seconds. Let's see the big payoff. This will be an illustration using all of those. Everything on that sheet you're going to see briefly. We'll start with a quarter note pattern. When you play the drum set, we go back to our friend the metronome, and we always count. Everything we do based on the count. You are the metronome of the band as the drummer. You can have all the best musicians, but if it's not on the beat, it's not music and it's not going to work. So this is key. At 50 BPM or beats per minute, let's talk about a quarter note pattern on the drum set. All right, we talked about ask and answer. Let's talk about bass drum, snare drum, which is the left hand, and your right hand, which will play the hi-hat. We're going to press down. For someone that's never sat behind drums, these are the 3 and really the most integral parts of the entire drum set. All of this other great stuff is for color and adding punctuation and for soloing. Very specialized cymbals, some of these, but we can certainly get by and play any song with these 3 components. Very important. This is the basis. This is the metronome for the band. Right hand up here. Think about your wrist. Arms in. Breathe. Good posture. Think about control. Think about relaxing. 1, 2, ready, play. Say it before you play it. If you can say it, you can play it. We're going to use our metronome. Always. 1, 2, ready, begin. Okay, so the right hand's playing on every beat. Think of the right hand as the conductor. The right hand is playing quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass, snare, bass, snare. Right foot, left hand. However you need to think about it, lean into it, whatever it takes for you to get that, to convey that understanding. The key is always stay on the beat, count. Relax and be sure you're on the beat. Don't stay behind the beat and don't rush, don't push. Now this will sound very familiar. Tell me if you've ever heard this before. Talk to your computer. That is the most common pattern ever. That's just about every song on the radio. Well, there are our friends, the eighth notes. Let's analyze it at a slower tempo, 50 beats per minute. Let's say it before we play it. 1, 2, ready and play, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the bass doesn't change. The snare doesn't change. Odd numbers on the bass drum, even numbers on the snare. Wherever you'd normally clap your hands, that will always be your snare drum. Think of it like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, 2 more and we're done. The triplet phrase I want us to think about, because a lot of us love the blues. Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King, blues and shuffle. A lot of that's very related. Well, here's a triplet pattern, or 3 strokes over the beat space. Does anybody know what a waltz is? These are all grouped in 3s. The way we count changes slightly to convert to 3s. All right? Listen to the triplet pattern. Set your metronome at 50. 1, 2, triplet, play triplet. Okay, a little faster, a little more practice. That's lesson 2. We'll get to all that. But everything I'm doing is based on a consistent count. I'm centered with the quarter note because I've worked really hard to develop my count. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3. I'm feeling that quarter note. The last pattern I want us to think about, the 16th note. 1, 2, ready and up, play E and up. All right, tell me if you've ever heard this before. It's every disco song from the 70s and 80s. It's all based on 16th notation. These are all things you've heard. Now we can identify them. Now you can work them up, and now you can utilize them. All right, so I'll play for just a second, a nice recap of everything, and I'll give you a little foreshadowing. I'm going to end with 30-second notes. That is 8 strokes on every beat. All right, that's how we'll end up. We'll start with quarters, 8ths, triplets, 16ths, and let's just see what happens. Got to end with 30 seconds. So call me for drum school. We'll teach you to play just like that.